Violence and chaos on the campus of Ohio State University. We're learning more about today's attacks that sent 9 people to the hospital. And we'll start there today on Local 4 News at 5. Good to have you with us. New information now coming to light about the man who drove his car into a group of pedestrians and then started stabbing people with a butcher knife on the campus of Ohio State in Columbus.
It is being investigated as a possible terrorist attack. Right now we know of 9 injuries. None are fatal, but 1 is critical. The suspect was an Ohio State student named Abdul Ali Artan. He was born in Somalia, but was living in the U.S. as a legal permanent resident.
Our Rod Maloney is in Columbus tonight, where there is still no doubt a lot of shock over what happened.
Indeed, Rod, what's the latest and how close are you to where that attack happened?
Start with the latest, and we believe the number to be 11 people who actually ended up hurt and hospitalized. 1 person with a fractured skull from the accident that happened right down the alleyway. If you can see the van with the swoopy colors, differing colors, the red, the gray, and the white. Just beyond it and down, there's a right-hand turn. It's called 19th Street, and that's where it occurred. Now, the police are saying that the attacker, and we'll want to name him again as Abdul Razik Ali Artan, was actually sitting in a car when a fire alarm went off and people were coming out. Now, whether he pulled the alarm or not is still in question, but there's no doubt about what happened, and the people who saw it were desperately shaken. Pittsburgh native and welding engineering student Martin Schneider had just left Watts Hall in that fire drill. He was there and saw the chaos break out all around him.
At first I thought it was a freak accident, maybe just the guy driving the car, he had a seizure or something. Just happened to hit the curb, drive through a crowd of people. But, after he pulls out the knife, runs after people, you really notice that it's not just an accident. So, really scary.
Another unnamed Ohio State University student saw the back end of the attack.
I was going to class and just saw people running and was nervous. I was like, oh crap.
And then explain how you were able to see a body.
I walked towards where people were running from.
Schneider did not get much of a good look at the attacker because, well, he ran and found his way back into Watts Hall with a professor who had been attacked and was wounded.
Well, I don't know how he got hit, but his ankle was injured, it was bleeding. I fled with the professor to the basement of Watts Hall. I was there, maybe like 3 or 4 other students, and we just told the professor to sit down.
There was considerable chaos around the area. Armed police officers swarmed a nearby parking garage, thinking there may have been more people involved in the attack. 2 men were arrested, but in the end, they were not involved at all. Now, understand that Schneider and that professor and 3 or 4 other students were sitting in the basement here at Watts Hall. It took another 20 minutes for paramedics to get to them in order to bring that professor over to the hospital, who had been cut rather severely. And so there is a lot of concern here tonight, a lot of anger, frustration, and concern here on the part of students. In fact, coming up on Local 4 News at 6, we're going to be talking to some students here about their reaction to all of this and what it was like for them when that tweet went out that alerted them that they need to be deeply concerned about their safety. Back to you.
In fact, Rod, we're going to get to that alert that went out from the university in a minute, but it does seem that as panic-stricken as it's, a lot of people obviously took the right steps. It seemed to react in the way that you would hope they would.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, it was a police officer who was investigating a gas leak, an Ohio State University police officer who was in the area just checking on a gas leak call that had come in. He was there, got the call, and got down to the to 19th Street here, basically, and was able to get to the person swinging the butcher's knife. We're told by eyewitnesses that he told him to put the knife down. He did not, and that's where the officer shot him and killed him right there on the spot. He is being lauded tonight for stopping what amounts to a terrorist attack.
All right, back to Rod here coming up a little.